Hi everyone, welcome to a Stamping to Share video. My name is Kay Kalthoff and I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! And today I'm going to share with you the cutest Christmas card. It looks like this and we're going to make it today, so I'm going to give you all the measurements. And then surprise, it even has ribbon on the inside, which is kind of something different, something maybe the recipients of your card are not expecting. And so we'll go ahead and get started. I do want to share that I was at Inspire, Create, Share Convention 2015 with Stampin' Up! And this was our little make and take that we did in one of our classes. And so it showcases the Home for Christmas product suite, which you can find on page 8 and 9 of the 2015 Stampin' Up! Holiday Catalog. Let me know if you don't have a holiday catalog. I'd be happy to get one out to you. And let's see, to start with, I wanted something on this card that would just contrast a little bit with the background that we put on here. And so I chose to use an old olive card base. So we will start with that card base. This is 4 1/4 by 11 inches and I've scored it at 5 1/2. And so what I'm going to do is just use my bone folder and I'm going to fold it along the score line. And then I am going to give it a little crease here along the back so that it will lie flat for us while we work with it. But for now I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to show you the designer series paper from the Home for Christmas product suite. And this has so many pretty images, but the images that we're going to use today is we're going to use a little strip of this candy cane stripe. And of course what's really fun with this designer series paper is you can actually cut out images such as these deer or the Santa Claus and use them as elements on your cards. It also has some music. Who doesn't like Christmas music on their Christmas cards? And then, of course, here's the little Santas, so we're going to be using those today on the card. It has some little cozy Christmas, well, actually, they're snowbound Christmas houses and churches. It looks so cute. It's so vintage. And then some poinsettias. They're just gorgeous. Some trees and presents. And then, of course, I actually really like it when Stampin' Up! Puts some lighter based designer series paper in their paper packs, because then I can actually stamp directly onto some of these papers. And so we are going to start by creating the base that our Santa Claus is going to be adhered to. So we're going to use one of those lighter packs. This is I think it's like a pool party with little vanilla snowflakes falling through it. And I've cut it at 2 3/4 by 4 inches. And then we have two little strips of this candy cane paper. And I've cut these at 3/4 inches by 2 1/2 inches. And we're going to be attaching those to the outer edges of this pool party panel. I found that one of the easiest ways to attach these panels is to just use a little bit of glue. This is our multi-purpose liquid glue, and I'm just going to set that so that a little strip shows on this edge. And because I use glue, you have a little bit of wiggle room so that you can make sure that that is all nice and straight. And then we're going to do the same thing on this particular panel. Just put a little swirl of glue. And then we'll just scoot this under here and try to make sure that that has about the same amount of the candy cane stripe showing on the right side as we have it showing on the left side. And so now we have our base panel created. So we're going to set this aside, let that get a little more dry, and we're going to do a little stamping. So I have some Mossy Meadow ink, and I'm going to open that up. And then we are going to use the hardwood background stamp from Stampin' Up! And you can find the hardwood on page 128 of our 2015-16 annual catalog. And I like this background stamp, and it really works well in the fall and through the seasonal holidays. It's great for manly cards. And so what I'm going to do is I used the Clearmount stamp and I've put it on a block F. And I'm just going to take my Mossy Meadow ink and I'm going to stamp all across the top like so. And then I'm going to take my panel of cardstock. So I have a panel of Mossy Meadow cardstock that's cut at 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm just going to turn that right around and put that right over the top of our Mossy Meadow ink. Now, so that I can press it down without actually getting ink on my fingers, I'm just going to use a piece of chipboard. This is just a piece of scrap chipboard, and I like to keep a few of these in my office just for this purpose with background stamps. And then all I do is rub my hands over the top of this chipboard, and then what it does is the ink, of course, will stay on the chipboard and it will not be on my hands. And then I can just pick up my background stamp, flip it over, and I have a perfectly stamped background image. And so we're just going to take this and we're going to glue this right on top of our base panel card. So I'm going to use some multi-purpose liquid glue, and just a skinny line all the way around is all that we need. And we'll just set this right here. And with, of course, the multi-purpose liquid glue, we have a little wiggle room. And now we'll set this aside again and work on the next layer. So now we're going to do a little stamping on this small piece of vanilla paper. This is 2 1/4 by 3 inches, and it's where we're going to attach our Santa when we get to that point. But for now, we're just going to stamp the Merry Christmas there. And so the stamp set that I'm using is Cozy Christmas, and it looks like this. You can again find it in our Holiday Mini Catalog, and it's on page 9. Of the 2015 Stampin' Up! Holiday Mini Catalog. And so we are going to use the smaller sentiment, and I'm going to ink that up again with the Mossy Meadow, and I'm going to try, it's a little hard when I'm videotaping, but I'm going to try to get this in here so that it's stamped somewhat straight, and that looks pretty good. And then we are going to set this aside and let this dry. The next thing we're going to do is stamp our inside panel. So our inside panel is 4 by 5 1/4, and I already took the liberty of gluing down a 1/2 inch by 5 1/4 inch candy cane stripe along the bottom edge. So that looks just like this. And then I'm going to stamp my sentiment again with Mossy Meadow ink. This is the little bit bigger square sentiment, and I want to put a ribbon on the left-hand side. So I'm just going to stamp, may the magic of the season fill your heart and home. And we're just going to stamp that over to the right so that we have room for our ribbon on the left. And as long as we're at it, we might as well put that ribbon on. So I have a 4-inch piece of the Very Vanilla Subtle Stripes ribbon. And it's a really good value. You get 10 yards for just $8. And what we're going to do is I'm going to use my ribbon scissors, and I'm going to fold this ribbon in half. Now this is 1 1/4 inch ribbon, so we're just going to fold it in half, and then I'm just going to do a little trim up the middle, and then I have a perfectly cut banner on my ribbon. And now I'm just going to take my stapler, and I love the Stampin' Up! Stapler because it's just the right size. Cute little mini staples for your cards. And that's what that looks like, and it's all ready to put on the inside panel of our card. To do that, I'm going to use some snail on the back. I often have people ask me, well, why do you use snail sometimes, and why do you use multi-purpose liquid glue at other times? Well, I often will use snail with Whisper White and Very Vanilla because sometimes the glue line will show through. Maybe not right away, but down the road it sometimes does. And so I prefer to use snail with Whisper White and Very Vanilla. So I'm just centering this in on the inside panel of our card, and now we have that completed. So we'll go back to our Santa panel, and we're going to bring this back into the picture. And as you saw on the Designer Series paper, there's all kinds of cute Santas that you can cut out. And so I chose a little Santa on ice skates, and I did go ahead and I cut this out in advance. And so I'm just going to use some multi-purpose liquid glue just along one edge, and then I'm just going to set this right here and just along the right edge of that panel. And then I'm going to take one of the Home for the Holidays buttons. This also is a good value because for $6 you get 30 buttons. So there's 10 of each button in 3 different styles. And this is the little poinsettia button. I think it's so cute. And I did wrap it with some old olive twine. All we have to do here now is wrap our ribbon. So I have again the Vanilla Stripes ribbon, and this is about 7 inches long, and I'm just going to fold this in half, and then I'm going to fold it in half the long way, as you can see, and then I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm just going to cut up, and then I have these cute little pennants on each side, which work great as a decoration on this card. So I'm going to slip this up here. You can see the pennants peeking out at the bottom. I'm going to take my little Stampin' Up! Stapler and put a little staple right there, and then this is ready for our Designer Series paper panel, which is right here. So I'm going to flip that over and add some dimensionals. And I've added 5 dimensionals, as you can see. And then I'm going to keep the weight of the Santa. I'm going to bring that down on my panel so that it's just a little bit kitty kilter. And we'll have that Santa just a little bit lower than the rest. So you can see how I've put that on there, a little bit kitty wampus. And then when I put this onto my base panel, I can go ahead and do the same thing, make that a little bit tilted. So I'm just going to add some multi-purpose liquid glue to the back. And then I'm going to center this onto the front panel of my card, just a little bit kitty wampus. And it's so cute. So here we have the little card that says, "Have a very merry little Christmas," with the Santa, and then all these darling little elements, the ribbon and the button, and when you open it up, you have a little bit more ribbon and your inside sentiment, and it's so cute. So let me go ahead and show you the original card that we started with, which was this one, and here's the one that I just did. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you so much for stopping by Stamping to Share. I truly appreciate you. If you need a demonstrator, be sure to visit my blog at www.stampingtoshare.com. I have links there for you to place product orders, and then also be sure to let me know. There is a email link there. If you need a holiday catalog, I'd be happy to get one out for you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.